All right. Hello and welcome everyone to the first weekly meeting of the Working Group AI Conformance. Today is the 31st of July. Please be advised that this meeting is under the Code of Conduct of the Kubernetes project, which in short means be excellent to your fellow attendees and speakers. Yes. Hi, everyone. Glad that you all made it and that you all joined the working group. And it's good to see that there's such large interest on the topic. The discussion already went on for a couple of things. First, let's do some housekeeping. As mentioned, and I will repost it again. This is our note stock, the note stock for this call and for the future calls. Please add yourself to the attendee list. You need to be part of the Working Group AI Conformance mailing list for editing rights. Otherwise, dev at Kubernetes.io got commenter rights. Also, we are always happy to have a note taker. So if someone wants to volunteer taking notes, please do so. And please don't add yourself to the template.
Sorry,
Anyone?
good call.
anyone up for note taking? Otherwise, it will be
I
a
can do
group
it.
effort. Okay, thank you, Shafi. Then I will add you as note taker.
It's Federico. Federico.
Ah, it's Federico. All right. Yeah. So the working group was officially created on Tuesday this week. The discussion went on for a little bit longer. First, we basically want to give a short update of what is this all about and what is the purpose of this. Janet, do you have for me the link to the current location of the doc that we started? Because then I can just share it.
Yeah, let me post it here.
Yeah. And then let me share this my screen. So back in so there was the interest of creating a conformance program as a superset of the existing program for Kubernetes conformance, especially targeted towards AI and machine learning workloads that are running on top of Kubernetes. And there was basically a draft to this being created. A couple of folks have been already involved, and basically the news was spread and more people were engaged. This led ultimately to the creation of the working group to have it under a formal head and under governance, from a governance perspective. The idea is that this is basically a superset, as mentioned, of the existing Kubernetes conformance program. There have already been some discussion regarding parts of this document and also some conformance programs. And the goal of the working group is to basically establish the conformance program for Kubernetes AI. This is a working title. There is one important thing. The name of the conformance program will eventually be decided by the governing board of the CNCF, because all trademarks are decided by the governing board based on the charter of the CNCF. However, of course, we can do give and do ideas. That's also why the Kubernetes AI conformance program is currently the working title. Yeah, we have already collected some requirements which are separated in between musts and shoulds of those programs, and they target a lot of different parts inside of the of a Kubernetes cluster or a Kubernetes platform. There is already a lot of discussion going on around this topic. Please feel free to also chime into this. We also want to focus the discussion more in those weekly meetings, so that we can basically maybe resolve points in the conformance program, how it currently stands, where the discussion is longer ongoing, because asynchronous discussions is fine, but synchronous is sometimes more helpful to come to a target. The first version of the conformance program will be a self-assessment questionnaire and without any tooling, because this was the idea is that the conformance program, it would be great if we already can present something about this in Atlanta for the upcoming KubeCon North America. That's also why we have a drafted timeline in the bottom of the document. As you can see, we are now, where are we now? Yeah, we are now in 2025, and the idea is basically that people can already start looking into this, and that we have maybe the first conformant platforms already by Atlanta. And I also want to introduce the fellow organizers of this working group. So we have, and this is now without any order, because I can't do a quick alphabetic order. So I will just read it from top to bottom. It's Juan from Red Hat, it's Rita from Microsoft, and it's Janet from Google. And hi, I'm Mario from Kubernetes. Maybe each of you can also do a quick intro. Teal, who am I? Hi, I am Mario. I am co-chair for the contributor experience. I work for Kubernetes, and I am also one of the co-chairs for the tech operational resilience. Juan, why don't you continue?
Yeah, I can go next. So my name is Yuan, and I'm one of engineers on the OpenShift AI, Red Hat OpenShift AI team. And I'm also one of the co-chairs for working group serving in Kubernetes community. And I've been working closely with a lot of projects in the cloud native space, including Kubeflow, Kserve, and Argo. Yeah, it's super happy to be here, and hopefully we can drive this conformance program quickly, but also in a pretty vendor neutral approach. Hopefully we reach agreement on all of the requirements, and yeah.
Hi, I'm Janet. I'm in the meeting room, so that's why the name is different from Janet. And then I'm the CCAP's chair and working on this AI conformance program, because I see the need of, we need a conformance for AI for making AI workloads portable across different Kubernetes platforms. And I think that's the need of the community. Maybe Rita, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Hey, I'm Rita. I'm on the Azure Core Upstream team at Microsoft. So this is a team that contributes to a lot of open source projects like Kubernetes. And I'm currently a chair for SIGAUTH. Also, I'm on the Kubernetes Security Response Committee. Also a maintainer for Open Policy Agent Gatekeeper. Thank you for having me here. Next we have, who else?
I think we are, from a lead perspective, done. I don't know, we have still some time left. Anyone want also to do an introduction and potentially state what you want to get out of this? So we still have some time, and it's the first session, and also we are happy to answer questions from the stuff that I just presented.
So I can go next. So I'm Andre. I'm working for ThoughtWorks, specifically ThoughtWorks AI Labs. So that's how I got the interest in participating in this working group. So yeah, this is the first time I'm doing something like this. I'm a node Kubernetes user, so to speak. I got certified in 2020 as a CKA. But yeah, I'm here to contribute and to learn from all of you.
I can go next. My name is Savita. Savita Raghunathan. I am a Kubernetes contributor. For a while, I also help lead SIG security documentation project, and I'm also a maintainer of Conveyor, which is a CNCF sandbox project that aims at bringing workloads onto Kubernetes using app modernization. And we have been working on something called as Conveyor AI, which uses LLM to do automated code refactoring. It's all built into, it's like a streamlined thing, like you can find the issues in the workload, the application, and use AI to fix it and bring it onto Kubernetes. I'm here to learn. I have started learning more about all these technologies. It's been popping up now. So I'm here to learn how I can contribute and also learn from others. I'm so new, so I don't know if my contributions will be valuable other than just chit-chatting here and asking too many questions.
All contributions are always helpful and useful. So welcome.
Hey, I can go next. So I'm everyone, Devdata Kulkarni. I'm the founder of CloudArc, and we have been working in multi-customer, multi-tenancy space. And the reason I wanted to come in and be part of this working group is we are seeing a lot of our customers kind of come to us asking these questions about how to run AI workloads with more multi-tenant angle, things like RAG workloads. And so I'm looking forward to learn, also help shape how the AI related, infrastructure on Kubernetes.
I think we lost you. Justin had his hand up.
I was just going to say, hi, I'm Justin. I've been around Kubernetes for a while. I'm excited to join this working group. I am particularly hoping to see us sort of tackle real world issues. So, like the Conveyor project, I think is awesome because, or the Conveyor AI project, I think is awesome because like, that's exactly the sort of thing I think we want to enable. Like I'm very happy if we focus on real things that customers actually want to do with, unblock their use of AI. And historically, it is an anti-pattern that a lot of SIGs fall into over time, where we sort of become insular. And so hopefully we can stay young and nimble and customer focused.
Hey guys, this is Bharat. I'm from Mirantis. So I'm part of the OSPO team there. I lead the special projects group at OSPO, and part of the work that we do, apart from contributing to open source projects, is explore this whole new world of AI. And since Mirantis is completely into platforms and infrastructures, we're sort of trying to understand the landscape, and this is something that has come up a lot in terms of conformance and governance and things around this. As I was like excited when I saw the email thread and then the GitHub issue. So yeah, happy to be here and excited to see how I can definitely contribute and help.
All right. Anyone else? This is totally optional.
Yeah, hi, I'm Edward Xian. Also here at Red Hat. I work with the ecosystem engineering group, so we're basically constantly building out prototypes and features and new products for our ecosystem partners. So we have a lot of very customer-facing interaction. So a lot of that comes with taking a prototype and scaling it, and all of the intricacies that come with that, like security and hardware requirements and the various kind of authentication things that they have. And yeah, so I would love to participate in all sorts of discussions. I'll probably start out as just someone who's just hanging out and listening, but open to if you guys have any questions, or I'll probably have more questions later. But yeah, happy to meet everybody.
Thanks. I can go next. I'll be quicker. My name is Eli. I'm basically independent. I've been contributing with SIG testing and SIG release. So I'm here to try to help and move this initiative forward. Very much interested in conformance and how we can implement this. So let's see where this goes. Happy to be here.
I think I also can say hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Andre. I work at Apple. I think we met with many of you guys in the recent KubeCon in Japan, starting this initiative. Kind of like about myself, I was trying to run AI workloads in Kubernetes since 2018, so it was a long journey. Right now, I'm a member of Kubeflow steering committee, also involved in a job set, maintainer of this project, and helping the batch working group to see how we can run training workloads on Kubernetes. Exciting for this work. I know we already done some progress over the existing doc. I think we have a lot of other initiatives we need to work on and discuss, but looking forward to work with all of you guys. Thank you.
Okay, I will go next. I'm Federico Bongiovanni. I'm co-chair of SIG API Machinery. I've been a contributor for Kubernetes for the last 7 years at least. Work very closely with, I work at Google, very closely with Janet, Justin, and other Googlers, but also many of you in the past as part of different work streams. And yeah, I really care about Kubernetes, and I think it's a pivotal time in history, and I want to make sure that I add my effort to keep Kubernetes, in the center of infrastructure management, even when the landscape of technology changes or evolves. So that's why I'm participating here.
Hey, I'm Sergey Konzherev. I'm chair of SIGNode, and I see my biggest contribution to this group is to making it as specific as possible, while keeping it vendor neutral, but still making it very easy for end users to understand, and possibly implementing new Kubernetes features to support standards and making AI working great on Kubernetes. Yeah, I have other experiences in the past, so happy to advise on any other things, but I see the most contributions will be live zoning for SIGNode and making changes in Kubernetes.
All right. Anyone else?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Ganesh, and I'm a software engineer in the GPU infrastructure team in Azure Kubernetes Service. I've been working in this area for the last couple of years, and I've mainly focused on things like GPU, health monitoring, GPU, new GPU support when we have different GPU instance types coming up. Also things like driver configuration, making it easier to configure things like multi-instance GPUs and so on in our Kubernetes platform. And I've also been experimenting with different tools that can make GPU workloads more efficient to run. So I'm pretty excited to hear about the things that are going on in this group, and also shape what is seen as sort of core basic conformance requirements for AI workloads, and what could be like stretch goals that we could improve on.
And I'll go next. Hey folks, I'm Chris Winter. I'm on the EKS product team at AWS. I own the category of AI ML on EKS, and so I'm looking forward to, contributing the insights that we have from customers into this conformance and working group.
All right. Anyone else? Unless not, then
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey everyone, Zonko Kaiser from NVIDIA. I've been doing Kubernetes the last decade as a user, as a developer, various Kubernetes 6 projects. Our team at NVIDIA worked to make the GPU a primary citizen in Kubernetes, right? And now with the upstream of confidential computing, we want to make the confidential GPU as well a primary citizen here. And I will be mostly representing the security pillar here from NVIDIA about the secure accelerator access, workload authentication. But I see that we have free should, and I want to make sure that those should are going to be a must sooner or later, that we have proper confidential computing. I also lead the confidential containers effort here at NVIDIA and the confidential computing on Kubernetes. And I'm also the lead of the upcoming working group for AI integration. And I think this makes a lot of sense to bridge those gaps here between those working groups. The things that we are integrating there for AI should be covered by this conformance group as well. That's all for me. Thank you.
All right. Going once. Going twice. Going twice. All right. My proposal for today would be so that we actually can go through the whole list eventually, that we start discussing the actual musts and shoulds, especially the ones where the discussion is already a little bit bigger. And I lost the tab. No, this is the tab. Bear with me. Too much tabs. And also, this is something that we should establish, because there might be the point where we cannot reach an agreement on some of the topics. So my suggestion or idea would be that when we reach a point in a discussion where there cannot be a decision regarding should it be a must or should it be a should, or should we take things out or add stuff in, that we take it relative pragmatic, and each company represented gets one vote. And then it's just majority vote. Any comments on this?
Mara, I just put it in chat.
Yeah, good.
I believe Janet has told me, and I don't know if it's that the intent is that this will be an evolving profile. So this is not a one and done type deal. So maybe that will take some of the heat out of the, we all want confidential computing, right? But I don't know if we'll get it by November, right? So,
Yeah, I should have added this. Yes, this will be an evolving program, and the first goal is to have an as not easy, but the goal is that we can basically go at Atlanta and present, like, this is a conformance program where companies or participants of the industry settled on the first rule set, and this will evolve in the future. This will also be more specific once we know what are more requirements from customer side, and basically what's up, what Justin said, what is up with the real world. So that is evolving, and the first goal is that we basically get it out of the door and have a couple of platforms represented there that we can say like, hey, look, we as a community stepped up, the companies followed, and that we basically can set a standard for the whole industry. Sergey, next.
Yeah, I think one important thing when we're thinking about must, voting is great, and voting will indicate the desire to have this as a must, but also I think it should be some minimal bar of either what is already implemented in the world, or what should be the mean bar of willingness to write this conformance test. So if you're voting to do something, you need to back it up with some investments in this area.
All right. Then let me share the tab again. Any input on how we should proceed? So shall we just go from top to bottom and discuss it, or should we start with Han? Go ahead.
Yeah, I know we've been moving really fast on that proposal, and a lot of people have been commenting on the doc, and some of them were marked as resolved, but they may still have additional follow-up questions. So my ask for people who've already commented on the doc, please unresolve any comment that you feel like is not resolved, so that we can make sure to follow up and address each one of them.
All right, then I would say let's just go from top to bottom, because I mean we need to talk about all of them anyway at some given point, potentially. And I think we have almost to everyone a comment. I can also, can I show the old comments?
Maybe like before we dive into the requirements, we should probably revise the timeline, right? So that we are all on the same page.
Yeah. So for all who are not aware, KubeCon Atlanta is in, I believe, the second week of November. And ideally, we already have some conformant platforms out by then. And I know that probably most of the companies represented here at least need to do some implementation to fulfill this. And there's also a question in the chat. I was curious to know the criteria used to categorize a requirement as must versus should. The first draft was created by Janet, and then people discussed about musts and shoulds, and also a lot of discussion raged around, or not raged, resolved around what are we targeting. So basically what the baseline of this whole thing is that you can only get this if you are already a Kubernetes conformant solution. So you already need to have the Kubernetes conformance in place for the thing that you're applying. So that this basically is the base requirement. So we don't need to put in any stuff that is already in the conformance of Kubernetes itself. And then we are now looking at topics, and there was also a lot of discussions about what is the minimum platform or thing that we want to that we want to enable? Is it like I want to run a single node cluster on the edge, that this is an AI conformant platform, or are we talking about platforms that could potentially enable all of the requirements or all of the different use cases, like, hey, I just use the clusters to training, I just use the cluster for serving models, I just so for all of the different use cases. And this is an ongoing discussion in this point in this document still. So yeah, Janet, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically the overall end goal is to make sure that when users want to run their AI workloads, they can just create a cluster that's AI conformant, and then they can just call the APIs they know that are already there. So that's the end goal. But because of the timeline for the first version by KubeCon North America, we need to be more realistic. So the number of musts will likely be limited for every platform to be conformant first. But then in the future, we might graduate more should into must. And I think the community, as a community, we can discuss together how, like, what's the criteria, how we want to graduate and move from should to must.
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff is exactly this. Andre, go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick question. I'm like curious, maybe community have any opinion on this. So I think as Janet said, like different AI workloads require a completely different set of orchestration and scheduling directives, right? So I'm wondering, do we consider this program to cover the entire end-to-end AI ML lifecycle? And what is AI from your point of view? Because right now, everyone is just doing agents. Right now, like everyone is moving towards, like different type of workloads they want to run, and Kubernetes could be one of the good platform for them to do so, right? But my question is like, what exactly we want to cover as part of this conformance program?
So my opinion on this, and this is now my personal opinion, is that the platform or platforms should cover the whole set, so like an end-to-end thing. And potentially, and this is up for discussion, is and also the other thing is up for discussion, is because it's my opinion, is that you create like subsets of the musts potentially, where you say like, I have a specific platform that only is for serving, for example. Then you don't need to fulfill all of the musts, but only the relevant musts for the serving part. Juan, go ahead.
Do we, yeah, just as follow-up, sorry, on the drug, like, do we consider if platform is only conformant with the inference workload to say that in conformant with AI conformance program? Like, for example, if the platform only wants to address the inference workloads.
That's up to discussion. There's
Okay.
that's something that we probably need to figure out. Juan, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say like we should not like treat different use cases and come up with requirements based on use cases, but rather come up with requirements based on the type of workloads, like for example, batch and serve. And we should also make like each category of workloads probably optional. Like if that vendor provides any inference capability, then the inference related requirements are really like required rather than optional. Does that help, Andre?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think but it will be different from the Kubernetes conformance program, although, right? Because it has the set of suit cases that all the vendors have to run, right? Which means like, do we want to build this differently here? Like, do we say, like, for example, if the platform covers only, like, allowed to run only inference type of tests, suit tests, right? Like, can we say this, you know, it is conformed with AI conformance program?
Federico.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think, and again, this is my opinion. I guess in the first meetings, everybody's going to be, this is my opinion, you know, since we are getting to know each other. But when in the very early discussions of this program on the document, we touched on this, and I mean, there is the possibility that we even create more than one profile, right? Based on the use cases or the workloads. That's a possibility. I think what I think, again, my opinion was we try to avoid the multiplication of profiles. There is one conformance profile, you know, for being Kubernetes conformant, and then there is one conformance profile for being, you know, AI conformant. Potentially, I would say it's up to this group to decide if that is the right way to proceed or not, right? I personally get scared, you know, if we start dividing, because, you know, creates a lot of creates more overhead and complexity to, oh, I'm conformant to, you know, inference profile, but not to training. And then if I have to be both, then I have to certify on both, etc. But, you know, again, up to this group. But I think it's a little bit of at the core of your question, right? Like, you know, I understand there is different use cases, and generalizing everything in one profile might be a stretch. So it's up to us to explore that.
Janet, go ahead.
So I think for the benefit of making the workloads being portable, it's better that we have a unified conformance for all the different types of AI workloads. And if you look at the doc, there's a section in the beginning for a unified AI conformance that explains the goal of this. We believe that we can produce a conformance program that's AI conformance program that's applicable to most use cases that we see in the industry. And again, this is an evolving standard, so we can make changes if we want in the future.
Yeah, and to also jump into the chat messages, and I will also jump basically on Rita, because this is what's also part of this whole thing is, I think, or we should have some kind of automation in place at some point, right? Because it's better, it's easier, and it's also more reliable. So this is also when you look at the working group, how it is created. There's the topic that it's also there to explore how to create tests and automations for this. Is anyone, or does anyone know how Kubernetes conformance itself works? Is someone not aware how Kubernetes conformance itself works?
I'm not aware.
Okay, so really quick, the CNCF or the Kubernetes project creates tests, or each of the different 6 creates tests for features that are going into GA. This is a requirement for a feature to go into GA, that there's a conformance test for this. And SIG testing, is it SIG testing or SIG Arch? I'm always confused. Is basically ensuring that those tests are going in. And then there is a conformance repository in CNCF organization, so not in the Kubernetes organization, where companies can basically, if they run the test inside of their solution that they have, for example, OpenShift, GKE, RKS, and so on and so forth. They can basically run this test, and then once the test is completed for a specific Kubernetes version, they get the stamp. The conformance program, so the acceptance of the conformance itself would also probably be under the CNCF, and Kubernetes would then create again the superset of tests and the implementation. Thank you, Janet, for putting the link in. And the reason why we discussed this in the first place was the self-assessment. This would also be run inside of a CNCF repository, because this can basically be listed, and also some CNCF staff members would then approve it, like they currently are doing for the Kubernetes conformance as well. But yes, I agree, we should also have in the future automated tests for most of the stuff. I believe, and I think this is the same fear that also Rita has, we will not be able to do this for all of the requirements that we created. Andre, go ahead.
So when you say tests, you're talking about like tests for the Golang code of a new feature?
No, it's tests of your Kubernetes distribution if you're fulfilling a requirement for conformance. So what is one example? One example is if anyone has one, please help me out, because I'm mostly only consuming. So it's basically an
there is a link in the notes document. You click there, you go by version, you can see how each vendor, adds their test there. Maybe that clarifies.
Yeah.
A link to the existing conformance repo, the CNCF Kubernetes conformance.
Yeah, for example, test pattern generic imperial volumes. Volume limits should verify that all CSI nodes have volume limits class name Kubernetes E to East. Volume has limits. So this is basically something, a test that is running inside of a conformance program. What is if there's no self-assessment step? At KubeCon, maybe the first step can be just to present the work of the working group, not necessarily have a list of companies that are already satisfying some aspects of the conformance. I want to answer this question after we stop the recording.
You don't want to share your ambition?
Was there any other topic in the chat? So back to Juan, go ahead.
Yeah, I have one question regarding voting, right? Which companies get to vote, right? Because I felt, and are the voting like weighted based on the category of the companies, like for example, if they're vendors, right? And also, like, do we have any kind of veto or power or something? Just want to understand how that works.
That's to be decided by us. I mean, we need to reach some kind of decision, and the only thing that I don't want to have is just because one company potentially have 10 members in the working group gets 10 votes, right? Because then it would be not a democratic approach to the voting. I'm also up for any other suggestions on this, but I fear that we need a way to eventually decide.
Yeah, maybe we can start by identifying the list of companies that are most interested in getting on the stage by KubeCon.
Yeah.
So one thing that helped me is Federico. The other day, I think there is around 90 different certified Kubernetes vendors on the existing Conformance program. Just to put it in context, I don't know if everybody was aware of that. So I think the goal is to have as many, assuming this program goes well and we can make it in time for North America, as many as certified, vendors again. And that goes back to the discussion of the must and the should, and then how it will evolve, etc. But I think, as Johan was saying earlier, being AI conformant will require investment, right? Like if you want to be there, and it's going to be a decision of each participant company, I guess, in the end.
Yeah. I would propose the following. We have touched a lot of topics today, and it was a lot of input, and for a lot of folks, it was completely new input. Let's do it this way. Take some time, read through the document if you have not done this yet. Add comments to it. We might move the document to the new Drive folder because this is something that we only have since half an hour, and I'm sorry for this that it took so long. But then we will share it in the Slack channel. And exactly, and then I would basically start with what Rita said, was proposing, that we just go through this, and so that we have next week basically a full hour to go through open comments and start actually working. That's also the reason why we did a weekly. Exactly, and maybe there's no disagreement at all, and we don't need some voting stuff. The only thing that I have is we should aim for having some musts, because if we only have shoulds, then it's useless for first version, in my opinion. There need to be some requirements. Any comment or any last thought?
So just maybe, how hard to change musts to should to must, based on your previous experience with Kubernetes Conformance program?
Kubernetes Conformance program worked in a completely different way. And that's also the other problem that we have. There is only the Kubernetes Conformance program, and I only heard stories of its creation. I was not part of its creation. I only heard stories. Maybe Justin, have you been around by this for its creation?
I was around, but I don't recall any of the details. I wasn't involved. How about that?
Yeah, and then there was the proposal for a Prometheus conformance program, which never took place. So basically, this is the second conformance program in the Cloud Native Foundation that is happening. So we are basically, again, starting on a blank sheet. The good thing is, the better we prepare it, the easier the future conformance programs might be to create also for other projects, because we have a lot of other projects who are, sorry, my English brain lost me, not incubating, but graduated, who basically also potentially want a conformance program in the future, and they can learn of our process.
Yeah, I just like think because we need to definitely be flexible here because like, we've been in this, space since like, almost a decade. And again, new algorithms have been developed, the frameworks got abundant new, techniques being introduced within, orchestrating different workloads, and it's much more complex to like what Kubernetes was, initially designed for, to run stateless workloads, right? Which means like, we definitely need to design a way for us to make changes quickly and adopt the new industry leading ways how do people run, AI at scale. Even like Kubernetes has the same problem in core, right? Like it's because it takes like 1 year to contribute some features. It's kind of like slow down the adoption of Kubernetes for advanced workloads.
Janet, go ahead.
So my understanding of the standard conformance is that it's very strict. You can only put GA stuffs in conformance, and it's very hard to remove any conformance item. But I think for AI, maybe we can be less strict because we want to be able to move faster. Instead of the goal of the standard conformance is reliability and stability. But maybe for AI conformance, we can have a slightly different goal.
And I to add to this, I think the whole technology area is evolving so fast that we probably don't know how is it looking in like 1 year from now. Rita, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we talk about one more thing that brought up in the chat. If you're done.
Yeah, go ahead. Just,
okay.
just yeah.
Yeah, so Ganesh added a comment, how do we decide which conformance sets may be very accelerator vendor specific versus generalized across all accelerators? I just want to also make a comment here that whatever we do put in the profile, even if it's something that maybe one accelerator or one vendor does today, we need to make it very clear that this is the direction that Kubernetes is going. And that's why we're adding it, not because one vendor is doing it. I think it could be easily seen as that if one particular vendor happened to implement it already. Does that make sense? Like say DRA, right? So maybe this is something we need to make sure we include in the profile, like this is the direction, and other vendors will eventually catch up. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Any last words? Any last comments? Going once, going twice, and then I will stop the recording. And